I'm Jamie. I'm 34.
It's Anderson, 25.
My name is Paul, and I'm 26.
I'm Zach Thomas, and I'm 19.
I haven't thought about that much. I guess I would say, to me, religion is more a strict doctrine. Like, there are all kinds of different religions, but they're more well-defined. Groups of people who believe a certain type of thing and a certain set of beliefs. Mm-hmm. Whereas I guess spirituality is more of on an individual basis. You know what I mean? Like, a person can be. I think most religious people are spiritual, but not necessarily all spiritual people are religious. Spirituality is something almost like an extra sense, I guess. Somebody that believes that there's something else that's not necessarily tangible, that's not necessarily something that one, the natural five senses can detect and pick up. But it may or may not be part of the well-defined doctrine that a lot of other people believe. It's kind of something, beyond their own self, beyond their own control, beyond what they have control over.
Religion is like, I don't know, constructed and formal.
And spirituality?
I guess it's a personal belief. Like, you want to go to someone else to tell them your spirituality.
Oh wow, that's a big difference there. Religion is something that's completely 100% man-made. It's a man's understanding or interpretation, and in a lot of cases, perversion about spiritual principles. Spirituality itself is something that I feel is natural, that every human being feels a higher calling, per se, whereas religion is a brand name.
I would say religion is what someone else has written and what's already out there in a book, and you can find. It's like something you can discover that's in the world, whereas spirituality is something that more comes from within. It's like your own belief systems, what you personally feel and have come to believe in from your experiences in the world and whatnot. So it can be a collection of anything rather than just say what's written and stated there in a book.
I don't know. I really don't know. There's not much difference. Can I check in the dictionary? Religion is a belief. I believe.
Okay. And spirituality?
Something else.
The first person that comes to mind is a good friend of mine from college. She is religious. She's a Christian. Spirituality kind of overtakes the rest of the logical, for lack of a better term, part of her brain. Like, she will believe that God is telling her to do something, or, she gets these, what I consider impulses, what to her, a higher being telling her to do something, and she'll just completely change her whole life. And she's been on both sides of the spectrum. Like, she went through drug problems, she had an abortion, a lot of things that most Christians would consider very anti-God, that she has kind of overcome, and also helped other people better their lives. She's gone out of her way to not be judgmental towards other people that have had issues going on in their lives. And going back to my original point, she had a very good job, had her life in order. One day, in her mind, something told her to leave the state and drive halfway across the country. She didn't know why, It didn't make any sense for her to do it, but she actually, I think a lot of people get these impulses and, weigh the pros and cons and say it doesn't make sense for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up doing it. She went out there and had no place to live, had no money, had no house, had nothing. And, ended up meeting some people who was able to help their lives.
How well do I have to know them?
Not very well.
They could even be dead if you want.
Okay, I'll go with Dalai Lama, because he's always seems cool. He's less dogmatic about some stuff.
Yeah, offhand, of course, I'm trying to think of somebody like in the last 100 years, but if we have to go through just historical times, of course, Jesus Christ, there's Moses, there's Abraham, especially Abraham, who went by total faith and followed a God he wasn't familiar with and gave birth to Christianity and Islam. So that's kind of weird in and of itself. Jesus Christ, not only did he separate time from BC to AD, which of course I'm not allowed to talk about in schools now, because now it's before Common Era and Common Era. But Jesus Christ revolutionized the way the Jewish religion operated, which is why Christianity became Christianity, and Judaism said no, because there were a lot of things that didn't make sense to a lot of people. And he didn't just shake up Christianity, he shook up the Greek and Roman mythological religions too. And for a long time, the Christians had a stronghold. And then after that, you had the Crusades and all that, and then the Muslims came in and did the same thing. So I would say probably the most polarizing figure would be Jesus Christ.
To be honest, I don't really know anyone who I would describe as spiritual or whatever. Actually, someone who's spiritual that I do know is this guy, Tom, from my work. He doesn't work there anymore, but he was a barman. But basically, he left about 6 months ago to go and do a whole load of charity work across Africa and South America and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he has that specifics of it, but it was general charity work, building wells, houses, that kind of stuff. He got sponsored to do it. It wasn't off his own back, but basically he decided to do it and give back to his time and effort to it. It was a spiritual thing for him because he was big into not Christianity, but he went along with a lot of sort of Christian commandments and morals and all that sort of stuff. He had his own sort of belief system in that he believed in an afterlife and that sort of stuff, but it wasn't a definite religion or whatever.
Did I know?
Yes.
Or maybe
Personally, or
it could be Gandhi or something.
Anyone. Any spiritual person that you admire.
Jesus.
Okay.
That works. You want to tell me why you admire Jesus?
Because that's
It's not like all Christians are the same, so I would say different things to different groups of Christians. I'm going to focus on what I think is the most important thing I would say to the people who are out front representing the religion, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking more to the evangelical types, stereotypical Christians as they are portrayed in some media and some forums. I want to emphasize that it's not, I'm not speaking to, sometimes I say to all Christians, sometimes I say to certain subgroups of Christians. And that is, don't be so judgmental or condemn people who have different views than you. I think that's a big problem, especially in the region that I'm in. That some Christians believe that in order to reach people or to draw more people into Christianity, they need to use the force of law and authority and power to force their will on others.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you drive people away from Christianity. You know, at the end of the day, treat people like you want to be treated. You're gonna bring more people in that way. If you were in a country where you were the minority and you had people saying that, you know, you have to observe this other religion's premise, this other religion's beliefs, you know, the rule of law is based on this other religion, you would not appreciate that. And so I think kind of the flip side is here. I hear a lot of Christians, you know, condemn the entire Islamic and Muslim faith because of terrorism and that sort of thing. That's a small subset. You know, don't assign belief to an entire group based on a small sample. You know, don't try to use the force of law to say only people that, you know, the gay marriage thing is a big issue right now. I have a huge problem with that. We should not. Christians, we're supposed to love one another. We're not supposed to say, you know, because I think your relationship's wrong. You shouldn't have the legal right. Now, you can think it's wrong, you can not acknowledge it personally, but when you start using the force of law to deny people's rights because their religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs differ from yours, that casts your religion in a bad light. At that point, as Christians, we become no better than the extremist Islamics in the Middle East who force women to, you know, cover their entire bodies and have all these horrible laws that are negative towards them in the church. We're doing the same thing here, you know, arguably to a lesser extent, but it's the same principle. That'd be my message to Christians in general. Be more open-minded and more accepting of other cultures. If other cultures and other beliefs are not negatively affecting you, the way to convert them is not to use the force of law to restrict their activities. It's to, you know, be open-minded, share your ideas and share your thoughts, but not be coercive.
Probably that not everything has to be about your beliefs all the time.
Don't believe any of the churches that are out there because they're all full of it. The best advice I could give would be to research what the founding fathers of Christianity did and learn what the original Jews believed too, because there's a lot that has been hidden by even some of the church fathers and some of the Jewish fathers that has stolen a lot of what Judaism and Christianity is all about away from the people. So now they think, you know, if you're Catholic, it's just going to Mass and doing this, that, the other thing. If you're an evangelical, it's believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you'll be saved. There's a lot more to it than that, and this would be another piece of that advice. Learn more about the theology rather than be a good person, because Buddhists do that, Muslims do that, Taoists do that, Hare Krishnas do that, Hindus do that. So most of the Native American religions, the golden rule is the essential of basically all the religions, because they've all derived from Judeo-Christianity, in my opinion. But the thing is, know why you are a Christian. Why are you a Christian? Because you were born that way? Well, I was born white. What if I wanted to be black? Do I need to turn black? No, it doesn't work that way. Learn why you believe, what you believe. In fact, that was in the Bible. Peter said, study to show yourself, Paul said that. Study to show yourself approved. And Peter said, always be willing to give an answer as to why you believe the way you do. And I think that's the best advice I can give any Christian. But the question is, do you believe what Christians in the first century actually believe? I don't think so. And I think a majority of the Christians out there believe completely, I wouldn't say completely opposite. I think some of the foundation is there, but it's so, I don't want to say corrupted, but it's been compromised. So it has no resemblance to what first century Christianity actually was. And no, there was no room for growth or improvement. It was perfect the way it was.
To be fair, like, you know, it depends to what extent of Christianity they go to, but I'll probably get in an argument with a few of them, because, yeah, personally, I don't agree with some of the, like, hardcore Christianity stuff, like you see about, what was that place, in America,
Westboro.
That place is, sorry?
The Westboro?
Yes, Westboro Baptist Church. Yeah, they were a bit extreme and crazy, and I don't know the specifics of the story, but yeah, they seem to be spouting a lot of stuff that I would generally disagree with, and all the stuff like Christians against gays and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't agree with anything that tries to oppress people or make them into something they don't want to be, or try and make people feel shame for anything if it's not doing anyone any harm. Just get on with it. So, yeah. Like, in general Christian terms, I'd just be like, yeah, what's up?
What would I say? I don't know. Keep believing.
Keep believing that word.
By the believers, you know?
Yep.
Yes, people from multiple denominations have tried to save me. And I actually grew up in a Christian church. I grew up in a Methodist church. And so I actually do believe in God. My beliefs don't necessarily fit in a nice little box that another group can identify with us and say, you know, I certainly don't believe everything that the Methodist church teaches, but that was the church that I grew up in. You know, I do believe in that part of it, but yeah, I've had multiple people try to convert me, but honestly, for the most part, you know, I find it's all about how you go about doing it. For the most part, I find it annoying, because if I tell somebody I'm already a member of such and such church, or I already have my beliefs, I expect somebody to respect that and drop it. I've had people come knock on my door. I've ran into people out in public who, you know, asked a lot of what I consider my to be a personal kind of private thing. I don't necessarily like just discussing it with complete strangers on the street who are obviously looking to tell me why I'm wrong and why I should be a part of their group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one thing if it's somebody that's a friend of mine that I've got to know and trust and that I like, then I'm going to be more receptive. I'm going to be more open to their ideals. But I think a lot of the evangelicals who just go around knocking on people's doors or calling people stones or whatnot, I question how successful they really are. I mean, they might get the stray person here or there who's just looking for something, but you know, I just don't know how effective it is to just start interrogating somebody and explain your views that you just met and in 4 or 5 minutes expect them to change their whole way of life and believe the same way that you do. I just don't think that's realistic.
Nope.
I've had people try to save me many times, and like I said, it was, I used the term hypocritical Christians, but what I actually meant was overzealous. Mm-hmm. Mainly young, but not all the time, where there may be a festival or a, county fair or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you have some of the fundamentalists out there attracting people, meaning handing out flyers and all that, you know. Mm-hmm. You're going to hell if you go to this fair or this festival or whatever. Judge not lest ye be not judged. I believe that was the point I was on. And that has become the hypocrite's golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
Because you shouldn't judge somebody. You shouldn't judge. You don't judge. Don't judge. Don't judge. Well, later on in that chapter, Jesus does say, when you do judge with righteous judgment. That goes back to the hypocrites who say, don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. But haven't you judged me by thinking I'm not saved if you're are trying to save me? You've judged me without even knowing me.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that respect, take the log out of your own eye before you try to take the speck out of mine. And that's basically it.
Save me as in save my life, or save me as in convert me into the way of the Lord and all that sort of stuff?
Convert you.
Yes. Although not from like mainstream Christianity. Around where I live, we get a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I've been trying to be saved quite a few times actually. So generally we get them knocking like door to door, and to be honest, I don't mind the discussion, and I don't mind, intellectual discussion about like faith and Christianity and all that. Well, Jehovah's Witnessism, as that's called, in general, but more or less it just gets a bit annoying when they keep bugging you at your door. So we try and hide from them. The debate is good, but after a while it just gets irritating. I've also had, to be fair, one thing I would say is that everyone who's tried to save me or whatever seems to be lovely people. Like, they always, like, oh, have a nice day. And there's a couple of guys from America, actually, came as well, and they were like twin brothers, and apparently they were like, because I got into chatting with them, and they were apparently just going across Europe, traveling, trying to, save as many people as they can. And again, they all seem lovely. But yeah, for someone like me, anyway, who already has my own set of beliefs and whatnot, I just find it quite ineffective. And whilst as I say, the chat is interesting, it just gets a bit irritating after a while, and it's not really going to change any of my beliefs or anything like that. So yeah, as I say, ineffective, interesting, and irritating.
No, I don't remember anyone trying to save me. It's myself, is it alright?
How long have you been a Christian?
Approximately 18 years and a couple of weeks.
So your whole life?
No, the first day I'm like, yeah, man, I'm a Christian. No, I was born a Christian. Allez tous vous faire foutre.
What?
Means I love you.